Hello, 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 everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you? How is everyone doing this morning? I know I'm early today, but I have been wanting to have this lady on Ask the Nanny for practically 3 years.
I think
Um,
3 years, yeah.
practically 3 years, but she works as a newborn care specialist. And as many of you know, we work overnight. And some of us work 24/7. Some of us work 12-hour shifts. Some of us work 8-hour shifts. And my husband is trying to call me. I tell you. Uh,
You threw off the schedule
so
so much, he's not prepared.
and I'm out of town, so my schedule is totally off. But we are here, and we're going to do this. So I'm going to let her introduce herself to you and tell you about herself and give us a fun fact while I share this to my groups.
Thanks, Angela. I appreciate it. Hi, everybody. I am Marley Hudanish. I am a Master Newborn Care Specialist. I am a former Nanny of the Year through the International Nanny Association. I won in 2015. I am credentialed through the INA for both as a nanny and as an NCS. Um, let's see, fun facts. I specialize in high order multiples, and um, I was the first master to come through the program. I was the first person to take the NCS credential exam through the INA, so that's kind of cool. And I guess a fun fact would be I grew up in a jungle. So I didn't even know what a nanny was. Many years I have come from a nanny background, and I always thought I was going to be a teacher. And the librarian, when I was in seventh grade, asked me if I was ever wanted to be a nanny, and I had no idea what a nanny was. She hands me the Mary Poppins book, and it changed my life. And so I went to nanny school and graduated in '93. So I've been a career nanny, and then I switched over to being a master newborn care specialist, and it's I'm living my best life. I truly am. So I'm very blessed to be able to still help and be with all the families, but I'm not there 3 to 5 years anymore. So
Okay, you lost me at jungle.
I,
I was like, say what?
I did. Yeah, I grew up. I was there for 12 years, and our school system goes from kindergarten through eighth grade, and I was the first girl to go all the way through, and the second person. So I get to do a lot of firsts.
Wow, you got a lot of firsts going on. You should write a book about all your my first.
I could write a book on terrible first dates too, but that's a whole other story. So
Okay, we have a question already.
great.
Uh, Lisa says, "Do you charge more to care for two children?"
So everybody does it differently. So I work primarily at night. And my all my sleep methods are gentle. I do not do any crying it out at all. I don't charge more. I honestly charge one rate. And so the parents with multiples are probably getting a deal. The parents with the singleton, like I just charge one rate. Some people charge more, and that's okay. But for me, it all kind of balances out is the way I look at it. Especially working with high order multiples, they a lot of times the parents want deals because they're getting free formula and free diapers and free wipes because they have such high order multiples. So in the end, I feel like it just kind of balances out.
So, um, I know you said higher order multiples.
What does
I
that
do
mean, right?
twins. What does that mean? I do twins. Most people know, oh, twins, oh, triplets. Yeah, we're used to twins. And they are should I say, that when I walk down the street, oh, are they twins? Oh, I'm like, no, I just found them that way this morning. They're looking at me like, this woman is crazy. But
I see that.
but yeah, twins, it's like a circus act. and they're looking like, oh my gosh, what's going on? I imagine a higher order triplets are probably even more like, oh my gosh, but you do
Triplets, quads, and
quadruplets.
quintuplets. I haven't. There's a few of us in the industry who have done sextuplets, and I have not had that honor. But I'm okay with that. And it's usually just me. I feed 5 babies at once by myself. So it's not a team or anything like that. So it's a little crazy.
That's what we want to know. How do you do all of that?
So a lot of what the easier, there's a lot of little strategies is I have excellent time management skills, which means I am prepared. If we're eating at midnight, I'm ready at 11:45. Nobody gets fully awake. If you work with triplets, you can actually work with quintuplets because you're already outnumbered. You don't have enough hands for everything, for everyone actually. And so it's just about being prepared every single time, laying out the boppies, getting the burp cloths, changing the diapers. I love it when we get to the point where we're no longer changing diapers in the middle of the night. It's my favorite part because it's like, oh, finally, like we can just keep sleeping and eating. And it's just about being with any of the multiples, right? Twins included. If one of them wakes up, everybody's awake and we do everything at the
Good.
same time. Because if not, you'll never get a break. I have triplets right now that I'm working with, and they were in the NICU for 10 weeks. And so they're teeny little guys. And normally, like they came home from the NICU eating every 3 hours, which was great, but their reflux is they're having a really, really hard time with the reflux. So right now they're eating every 2 hours, which just helps them. Smaller meals, not as, and more frequently really helps with reflux and not hurt them as much.
Good. I'm gonna come back to that reflux. Lisa says, okay, thanks. How about an ad to care for, supervise one child with homeschooling? And at the end of the ad, it says, my daughter's friend will be coming over too. So it's two families actually trying to get one sitter for the same price.
I think if it's a play date, that's one thing. But if it's just going to be a regular thing, you really need to sit down and talk to the family. Just be like, this is, I'm not able to give my full attention to your children if all the other kids are here. And it is honestly like a nanny share. I would consider at that point. I mean, again, if it's a play date or something, that's a whole different story. They just come over, they play, you might have them for a couple hours, whatever. But it's not a
It's not
you
an
need to be
everyday regular occurrence.
right, and you need to make it's job creep where people like just keep include
I'm glad you said it because I was getting
yeah they just
about
keep
that.
piling things on and piling things on, and if you're the kind of person that's okay with it, then let it go. But if you're not, or if it just kind of rubs you the wrong way, talk to your family. Just be like, I have no problems with having extra people here, but but come to them prepared. Don't go come to them like what you would like as a compensation, or is there a bartering system going on, or however you guys want to do it. Come to them with a plan as opposed to going, I'm not okay with this isn't okay. What are
And
you
what are
willing to
you
do?
going to do about it?
Yeah.
Have a solution, because that way, if you come to them with a solution, like, okay, so if she's going to come over every day, then there's going to be an extra $5 per hour for her to come over every day and play with little Susie over here, or it's going to, or I need to be getting off, coming in later, or some kind of way you need to compensate for that and still get paid for, coming in later. Some kind of way.
Also, with the other families now in the time of COVID, she needs to have a contract with the other family about
Yes.
how safe they're being, and what their expectations of what you're doing. But I had an interview for an NCS position not too long ago where the baby was 3 weeks old. She was adopted, and I was telling them like I'm very safe. I always wear my mask, and they're like, oh, we're not even worried about it. I'm like, she's like, we've had all kinds of people coming over to see the baby, and I'm like, huh, you can't even do that when there's not a pandemic going on. So
Right. especially if
So
they're adopted and you don't even know what kind of allergies or anything else, the
yeah,
history of that baby.
yeah.
You don't know the family history. So anything could be happening. Because I always, 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 do you have allergies? Does anybody in the family have allergies? Because some allergies, because of my own child, he well, I had allergies, his dad had allergies. He got both of our allergies. He's just like the wind can blow.
Yeah.
It's like whoosh, face red, eyes blown up. But yes, you need to know the history and
And
not
there's
have
also,
all those people.
and I'm so sorry to talk over you. I didn't mean to.
No, 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 no. Go
It
ahead.
is, but it's now in the time of COVID where people are, I'm in Texas, so people are a lot more relaxed right now. And I walk into work, I wear my mask for the whole 12 hours I'm there. And I wear one mask going in, and when I'm around the babies, I wear a whole other mask that is just nice and fresh for just the babies every single night. So, but part of my contract, we discussed what expectations do are the parents are is everybody going out is are or people still being very careful and stuff like that. So if you're going to have another family involved, you need to sit down with the other family also and find out what is um, uh, what the precautions everybody's taking and what expectations everybody has, because that's really important. Because I know here in Texas, all the schools open back up. Mean, so it's just depending on what's happening and stuff like that. So it's just, but protecting yourself,
Yes.
and it shows a lot of you're professional. It shows that you're a professional, just having sitting down and having a conversation. And it was always harder in the beginning. I didn't I didn't rock the boat ever. I was just because I was so
But
afraid. And then
it's your life too.
right, right, right. So
I am out of town now, and it's because my husband's job. I get the privilege of traveling with him sometimes, but my baby is due December 8th. I'll
mhm,
come home on Saturday, and I'll be in quarantine. I made sure I grocery shop, did everything I needed to do before I left, so I could stay at the house,
mhm,
just me, and quarantine myself before this baby is born,
yeah,
because I want to make sure that I'm safe. I want to make sure that I'm not sick. I don't want to carry it to someone else, because newborn babies are so vulnerable, and the mom, because after you have a baby, all your pores are open, and just
right,
your immune system is compromised. I'm not trying to compromise not only myself, but I'm not trying to compromise someone else in their newborn,
right,
especially since they tried and tried and tried and tried and finally got a baby. I'm not, no,
yeah,
that's not going to be me. I'm not going to be that one. So I would suggest to Lisa that you come up with a contract, and one that's going to protect you and those children, because some people are not as careful as others. And I know, as working as a nanny and an NCS, I'm going to do everything that I can do to make sure the family is safe. I'm going to do
agree.
everything I can to make sure that I am safe.
That you're safe. That's right.
Now,
And that way everybody's on the same page, and the expectations um, from both the families and yourself. Everybody's just on the same page.
everybody's on the same page. Okay, Miss Vashni says, good morning. Hello, Vashni. How are you?
Good morning.
Okay, and we have another question. Lauren says, hi, I've nannied and taught preschool for many years. I am planning to become an NCS, taking courses now, but I'm wondering about how to transition, getting those first jobs to get more purely NCS experience. I have cared for newborns in the past and one within the last year. I was thinking also about getting uh I think there's postpartum training.
Hmm.
I'm training as well. Okay.
That's actually, this is very common, and I mentor a lot of ladies, and Honestly, there's some really amazing programs out there that that I highly recommend, and it's at one point I was like, I wanted to be a doula, I wanted to be an NCS, I wanted to be car seat certified, I wanted to wear so many hats, and then actually my car seat tech, she's actually the reason we have a lot of the Texas laws that we do. And I sat down and talked to her, and I was like, oh, I want to do all these things. And she said, I am you of the car seat world. And I said, yeah. She goes, you'll never be me. And I said, well, yeah. And she said, because I do this all day, every day. And so, and it made perfect sense to me. So for me, instead of trying to wear 15 different hats and showing the world that I can do all these things, I'm an expert in a couple of fields. Why not? And then when one of my parents needs a doula or needs a lactation specialist or needs a car seat person, I absolutely will send it out to the experts that way. A lot of the programs, I mean, there's some really great programs out there. Newborn Care Solutions is where I have done most of my training through. There's also Sleep Wonders. There's so many, but I highly recommend going with a program that is going to have a lot of science based. It's not like mom group based or anything like that. It's a lot of science based. And going through Newborn Care Solutions, excuse me, you can actually after taking the foundational program, and you can go into different levels. I think there's the advanced elite. I might be wrong on the terms, but again, I've already gone through them, so I don't, I know they changed the program a lot, but you can get certified through cash after the foundational program. So the way I look at it is, the more trainings you get, you will always learn something. I still to this day take trainings, and because I don't know it all, I guarantee you I will always learn something I didn't know. And that also helps. And also when I go on interviews, I get a lot of times dads, and most usually dads will say, well, why should I hire you when your rate is this high, but the girl over here is willing to do it for half that? And I'm like, because I'm a master NCS. And he's like, he just kind of looks at me, and I'm like, there's only about 15 of us in the country, and I'm the only one in Houston. That's a lot of confidence to be able to say something like that. So even if you are staying as a nanny but you take some newborn care classes, even as a nanny, that could still work, because your family could have a brand newborn, or just, I mean, when I started out as a nanny, I just got married in February, and my maid of honor was an 11-year-old who I have known her whole life. Her first year of her life, she slept in a swing.
Oh my God.
Because I didn't know better, and now if I come in and a baby's sleeping in a swing, my head's probably going to fall off, So it's,
And
there's
heads are gonna
definitely,
roll.
yeah. I'm like, oh, we have to talk. But once you know better, you do better, right?
Right.
So I mean, so I think it's just always empowering for yourself. It also looks amazing on the resumes. When you do, parents like seeing the certificates. They like seeing um, the accomplishments you did. They may not understand a lot of them. So and then it also, of course, just doula. If the PPD, I think that's a postpartum doula is what I'm
Yes.
thinking of, right? Okay. There's some really great doula programs, and I actually work with a lot of doulas. So I have a doula working with me with triplets. She's there during the day. I'm at night, and we are an amazing team, because it's just, we are so on the same page. We use almost the
Oh,
same products.
yes.
And so I don't even worry about what's happening right now at all. And I just read the log later. So it's just, you can take this as far as you want to go. But I highly recommend it. It changed my life without a doubt. I was working as a full-time nanny. I worked 22-hour days, 6 days a week for 4 years, while I was starting to do the NCS work. And I held on to my nanny job for so long because I was so afraid of not being able to make it as an NCS. And then I, and then, but but by doing that, I also kind of catapulted myself into, I went from just, I was a night nanny. I didn't know any better, kind of thing. And so it just, I'm so grateful for the experience, but I don't recommend it to anybody. It's a little insane. But a few years back, I retired from the nanny world officially and just have been doing nothing but NCS since then. So I highly recommend it.
Yes. And when you were talking about being a team, I think you know these ladies, Sheila and Janessa. We
Hi,
worked with
guys.
one family, and Sheila was there during the day. I was there Sunday through Friday. Janessa, no, I was there. Was it Monday through Friday? Anyway, Janessa was there like Friday and Saturday night, I think it was.
I
And I
worked
was
with
back on
Sheila. Yeah.
Sunday. Yeah, and Sheila was there during the day, taking care of the baby, and we were the A team, and
That's it.
that's what Mom called us, the A team. I was like, yes, and I
We're
missed
we're we're the dream team down here right now. We're the mom is referred to
yeah,
us as the dream team. That was actually a really fun experience. I went up to Dallas for a job. I met you guys for breakfast one morning, thinking I
yes,
might know one person. I walked in, I think there were 12 of us, and I knew like 10. I was like, this is really, I love this. This is fantastic. Like just our paths had crossed, or we were friends on Facebook or whatever. But
yes.
it was really such an amazing experience.
It was because I was like, I'm not gonna know anybody here. Why am I going in your room? Because I'm the anxiety when it's like, okay, I see it coming. Okay, let's do this to avoid this. Let's do that to avoid that. I'm the one that the super, okay, we got directions, and it's like a child when they climbing up something, and I'm the one. Yes, I like you to do the risky play, but I'm going to be right here to catch you. Okay, all right, where are we? Okay, go ahead. I'm still here. Instead of just standing back and looking, I can't stand back and just look. I have to be close by for that just in case moment. I'm not one of
I,
those nannies that, oh, he'll be okay, he'll be fine. I'm like, no.
I was
So
always the one that I taught them how to like get up and down the ladder and everything like that. And then I would kind of sit back. The 11-year-old that was in my wedding, I would lose her in a park often. I wouldn't lose her. I just look around and don't see her. And all I had to do was look up. She'd be in a tree somewhere, And I always told her, I said, we are not going to the emergency room tonight. I don't have it scheduled, so you can't fall out of the tree. Like, you can't hurt yourself. Go ahead, climb. I don't care, but I'm not taking. And I think for years they were like, "Would you really not take us to the emergency room?" And I said, "Not if I told you not to do it. Probably not." They had to. I think they probably knew I was kidding, but yeah, I was like, "No, I don't know if I will. I told you not to do that. Kind of thing. Don't fall out of the tree."
you weren't listening.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I just it is so hard for me to just, it was hard for me to just take the leap of faith and just do it. But my first job, my first real NCS job, as in I'm not going back. I quit my job and this is going to be it. I had no safety net. I had no nothing. But the family asked me about my faith walk
Mm.
and how it applied to my job. I said, well, guess what? You are my leap of faith. This is my first official non-nannying, not okay, we'll come overnight and then we'll switch to days. Nah, none of that. This was my first non-nanny, and that's why I got the job because I took a leap of faith, and they were like, "Well, we are faith-filled people, and that's what we want to run our children." So yes, you got the job. I was like,
I think this
really?
is your calling. I grew up knowing I was going to be a nanny, and I it was the best career ever. But after 23 years of doing, all of my kids went to the same gymnastics place, to the point where the coaches would see me. They're like, "Which one's yours?" I'm like, "That one." And they're like, "Oh, we love her." I'm like, "I know, she's one of mine," you know. But I went to the zoo every month for 23 years, so it just got to the point where it was just like, and I wasn't enjoying it as much, And so becoming an NCS really, I think this is what I was made to do, is because of the fact that I feel I can still be with the families and still get to have squishy little babies and everything
Ooh,
like that. But
that's
I'm there.
smart.
I'm only there for a few months as opposed to a few years. Um, and so but I love it. I I work 84 hours right now. I mean, I work at 90-hour week is pretty normal for me, and I love it. I just, if you didn't love it, there's no way anybody would work those
No,
ridiculous hours. I don't care what people were paying.
I don't care what
So
you say. You were not.
yeah.
I had a my last one that was a 12-hour shift. It was from December to May. And that was because mom was like, okay, can we just a little bit longer? Okay. Because I was only supposed to be there. The babies came early, first of all. They weren't supposed to come until the end of December, and I was supposed to start working in January. But they came like the 14th of December, so my
Mhm.
contract started early. And
Mhm.
then after, and they were twins. They were girl
Mhm.
twins. And then I got there and I said, okay, contract's ending in March. Well, can you stay just 1 month? Okay.
I
So
get some parents who are like, please don't leave until they are actually sleeping through the night, which is usually about 4 months for me. Um, and other parents are like, I had one family like, this is where the money ends. I'm like, okay, I'll do the best I can until that date. I'm like, I appreciated the honesty so much. She's like, we had budgeted for somebody to come in, and she's like, and this is where it ends. I'm like, okay, we will do the best we can until that moment. So that's always um, and I think I had one mom. He ended up being the ring bearer in our wedding, and she kept me on every Friday for a year after. I mean, I'm like, I don't see him until the morning. Like, I'm literally just here. She goes, yeah, but it's the one night off that I don't have to worry about anything, and I can go out and have a couple glasses of wine. And I'm like, I don't see him until 7 o'clock in the morning, which I loved. I still got to hang out with him, but it's just like. And finally, after about a year, she's like, okay, I guess I really need to just let you go. And I'm like, she goes, I know once I do, but it's like she held me. She's just like, I think so, some people will go to the spa or whatever. I think that's what this was her, how she was doing to uh,
that was her self-care night.
self care night. Yes, thank you. That's exactly. So I mean, it's just and some jobs they're just jobs. When it's over, and other times you meet your unicorn family and they're in your life for a really long time, and that's you never kind of really know what you're going to get, and I'm very blessed, and it's also I think knowing uh the kind of families you want to work for. There's a couple in the industry who want to work in the top 3%, the ones who have families who have travel everywhere and they have a chef and they have a yacht and all that. I don't, those are not
Those are not
normally
my
my
people.
demographic. Yeah. The ones I love are the ones, honestly, that usually grandma's paying me. It's because and they absorb everything I'm telling them, and they will follow everything to a T because they
Oh,
are like,
those
we are not.
families.
Yes, I love those. They're so and they won't try to. I always encourage parents to try to work things this out on their own, but sometimes don't mess up the schedule either because it's like I'm handing you a blueprint. And some of them I know I'm going to get a phone call in a couple of weeks, because they're like, oh, we didn't do anything you said. Can you come back and fix? Well, if I can, I do go back. But so it's just about knowing your demographic. I think that's also very important, and knowing your area. Dallas and Houston do things very, very differently. So that's
And Austin is different too.
yeah.
I figured that one out when I moved here. I was like, ooh, this is totally different than Dallas.
And are you primarily in Dallas still?
No, I was in Dallas until till COVID shut down Dallas, and then Austin
Okay.
shut down the week after, the day after. So I told her, I said, if Dallas shuts down, then I'm going home because I had already moved to Austin, but I signed a contract with her, and then we moved after my husband's job moved him. So I was like, well, Sheila said, just come and stay with me. You can, stay here while you're doing the contract. And that's how Sheila got, because she asked me for a doula, someone to come and stay during the day. So I told her about Sheila, and then she wanted somebody Friday, Saturday, after the first weekend alone. She said, um, can you come Friday and Saturday night too? So
I get
that's
that
when
a lot.
Janessa got into it. But when I left, he was almost 9 weeks old, and he was sleeping like 7 hours. Within the next 2 weeks, because we had said, okay, well, you go home and then we'll pick it up, because we didn't know it was going to be this long. She said, we'll pick back up once that they open everything back up, because we thought, 2 or 3 weeks and we'll be done. Well, within 2 or 3 weeks, Janessa was leaving too, because he outslept us.
Nice.
So I was like, okay. So he was sleeping like 11 hours. And she said, well, I don't have a job anymore either, because he slept through the night. And mom was like, mhm. So, but Sheila stayed with them for a while during the day. But I, I love when babies sleep like that. But I also like, okay, you still slept me right out of a job.
But that's why we have our contracts.
Yes, that's why we have our
Our
contract.
our
But
contracts are, you can keep me here, because I mean, at some point they're going to have to get out of their swaddle blanket, and there's always
yes,
some kind of things we can do.
but he
One of the things, when I'm sorry, go ahead.
go ahead. No, go.
I was just going to say, so Andrew and I came back from our honeymoon. We got married February 2nd, and February 10th we came back, coming in from Canada, and and we were on a honeymoon. We didn't even turn on a TV, so we had no idea what was going on. And in Canada, they asked us, like, have you been to China at all? And I was like, no, not at, like, why? And they're like, oh, there's some kind of virus going on. I'm like, what? 4 weeks later, the world shut down, kind of thing. And
Wow.
I was with micro preemies. And these babies were little. I mean, at 8 months old, they weighed 11 pounds. Like, these were medically fragile children. And so I ended up being quarantined away from my husband, and for 6 weeks. So, because he's still essential and I was essential, but I had to be away from, everything, and just to keep the baby safe, because even regular babies, but babies who are preemies or micro preemies, even just a common cold can be catastrophic. So I quarantined away, from Andrew, which was, that was
I
hard to
know that
do,
was hard.
it was the right thing to do, and we were
Yeah.
both grateful that we're still working, and everything like that. And we feel very blessed that our wedding was like the last wedding that everybody had before the whole world shut down, and there were no restrictions. And so we feel very, very blessed to have had our family and friends and loved ones join us. So, but yeah, that's not exactly the plan I had for, like, first year of marriage. Let's just be quarantined away from each other, kind of thing. So,
Oh, okay.
but it's the sacrifice you do for the job. But the mom was just having a hard time, and by quarantining, she felt better. She knew that everything was going to be okay, or to the best of our ability.
Right.
We were taking all precautions that we needed to.
Okay. Okay. So we have some comments on Facebook that are not on here.
Okay.
Um, Marie Hoover, hello. Thanks for watching. Hi, Tania, and hi, Galen, and Karen,
Hi, ladies.
and Tania says true parents are delighted to see nannies educate themselves, and some even offer to pay for the nanny studies. Yes, they do.
I actually have it.
Julia,
I had that in my contract. I asked them to put in like a $500, continuing education, um, budget. And so towards the end of my nanny career, that's a lot of my families were doing that, which was actually pretty neat.
yes, it is. That's an added benefit. Also, Julie Jordan says, "Great
Hi,
to see you
Julie.
both." Hi, Julie. And Julie also says, love the families who will listen. That is so key because I did a boot camp with babies um, overnight. They had stopped sleeping. She said, they're not sleeping. And one wants to eat and the other one doesn't want to eat. So I'm always feeding. I said, wait, hold up. You're feeding them separately? She said, well, one wakes up and she just won't, I don't want her to wake the other one up. So I feed her first and then I'll wait until she gets up. I said, whoa. I said, you're killing yourself. She said, well, um, I said, okay, we're going to get you on schedule today because when she told me I feed them every 3 hours, I'm assuming that she fed them both every 3 hours, not this one I feed and then an hour and a half later I'm feeding the other one and then an hour and a half later. I was like, did you ever get a break? And she was trying to breastfeed too. And I was like, no. So we finally got them on a day schedule. I said, now I'm going to let you. I came over during the day and I said, I want you to listen. The difference between a whine and a cry. I said a whine means that I'm trying to self-soothe, which is what they need to do. A cry is a come get me, something is happening. I can't stand it. Come get me now. And I said, and the baby went, she said, oh, I said, no, she's not crying. She's whining. I said, you have the camera. Look in the camera. She's not in distress. And after about 3 or 4 seconds, nothing. And then
Yeah.
like 5 minutes later it was and I was
Yeah.
like, she said, but I said, no. I said, listen, look at the camera. It's a whine, not a cry. So she's like, okay. And then about uh about 5 minutes later we heard a what? I said, no, that's a cry. So she went in and I said, now when you go in, I said, try. I said, try to put your hand on their tummy. Don't look in their faces because I said, once you get that eye contact, they're gonna give you those puppy dog eyes that says, "Mommy, I know you love me. pick me up
Right.
now." I said, no, no. I said, don't do the eye contact. Just put your hand on them. Let them know that you're there. If they settle down, I said, then we're good. I said, but if they don't settle down, then we go to pick them up. And she's like, um, okay. I said, now you got to be brave.
Right.
Okay. So she went in and she put her hand down and she started to turn her head. I was like, she turned her head back. She put her hand on the baby and she just kind of wiggled and she stopped crying and she went on and she settled down. And I said, now, it's like, I'm like, get out, want to get this good, out. So she came out and the baby slept for 2 hours. She's like, I can't believe it. I've been doing this all this time and I came in and I picked her up and I said, yeah. I said, there's a difference between a whine and a cry and you're settling them down and not picking them up. I said, because if you pick them up every time they cry, you're going to constantly, they're going to be like, okay, I don't want to be settled. I want to be picked up. Let me cry. And I said,
Right. Right.
so I said, don't get in the pattern of running every time you hear a loud scream. I said, look in your camera. I said, sometimes they get frustrated because either they can't get their hand in their mouth or whatever. And it's like a loud cry and it's done versus a continuous cry. I said, let's look, let's listen, and so she said, okay. So once I got her past that point, I said, it's that sleep training job was about training mom and dad, not necessarily the babies, because the babies would sleep. I was like, they were sleeping. They were
It often is.
so I was just like, okay. But I
Well,
found that
I had a mom. So sorry. Go
no,
ahead.
go ahead.
Well, I was going to say I had a mom just recently who I was there for 7 weeks. We were no longer changing the diaper in the middle of the night, and I was off for a couple of nights. They chose to go out of town, and um, she's like, "Oh, I've been changing his diaper in the middle of the night." I'm like, "Why?" And she's like, "He's wet." I'm like, Yeah, he is. But for 7 weeks, I have not changed his diaper once in the middle of the night. So please don't. Please. I mean, it's just like you're making it harder on yourself, kind of thing. And it's just
Mm-hmm.
hard. I mean, I know parents that we have very strange jobs. I was laughing about this not too long ago that, hi, nice to meet you. 45 minutes later, parents go to bed and I'm bumping around in the middle of the night taking care of their baby. I mean, what kind of world is that? That's a normal thing. Like, nice to meet you 45 minutes ago, and I will take care of your baby. You can go to sleep, and parents are handing you the baby, and off you go. I
Okay,
just like
so
that's the strangest job in the world, right?
yes, and they wake up in the morning. Okay, how did they sleep? Oh, they did great last night. We had this, we did that, we did this, we did that. Okay, and it's written down in the book. So, and either it's in the book or it's on the app. And
Yeah.
most, I still like to keep a written log simply because apps go out, electronics fail, whatever. A wrong number is written or something, but I like to have it written down, especially when I have children that are um, medically frail, because I need you to know this is the medical log, and I'm going to write in this medical log so that you won't overdose your child. I
Oh
need
yeah, totally.
everybody. This is, well, what if I said, I don't care who does what to that child, it needs to go in this book. If you touch the child, it's in the book. If you change the pamper, it's in the book. If the poop looks a funny color, it's in the book. So that you
Right.
can take this book to the doctor's office with you, and you can
Hmm.
say, on this day they did that. I said, and if it's something that is that concerns you, write it in red. Because when you're flipping through the book, you can see red right away.
Right.
And
That's a
they're
good
like,
idea.
well, I didn't know all that. I said, yes, write it in the book. I said, that way you can take this with you. I said, it can be your baby book. You can come back and get memories from your baby book, whatever the case may be. Write it in red in this book. And so everything that needs to be done, medicines, if the poop looks funny or whatever the case may be, it was written in red. So when she took the children to the pediatrician, she could readily see, oh, we had a problem on this day. And I said, date it, time, you know, what kind of
Right.
mood. I said, I always put the mood that the child was in, if they were playing, if they were happy, if they were just, if it's the middle of the night, they were asleep. But I always make sure that I put it in red so that when you go to the pediatrician, I'm not there. So that you can explain to the pediatrician, even though I've explained it to her, I have these long logs because when you're talking to children all the time, you have to explain it down to the nth degree. So with my parents, I write it out to the nth degree. So all they have to do is read it, and the doctor will understand. Oh, so this is what happened,
Right. Right.
because we are trained to write what we observe. Most parents write what they feel is going on. So
Or what they
I
want us to see.
yes, but they
They
want us
do
to.
that. They're like, we expect them to have 3 ounces, so the parents always write 3 ounces, and that's not exactly what happened, kind of thing.
Mhm. Well, they only drank about an ounce of it, but mhm. So how much did they actually drink?
Right. Yeah,
So
absolutely. Well,
okay.
and I work with and working with preemies and everything. You need to. I mean, we're down to the milliliters. It's not a like, oh, 5 or 10. No, we have this down because we need to know that because weight gain is hugely important, and they all need chubby thighs. So we work on them
Yes,
that really hard.
I love the Michelin Man.
Hi, Becky. I can't. What did
Becky
she say?
says, "Can you talk about consultations you do with parents?"
Oh yes. Okay. So I'm gonna do a shout out to Becky. Becky is part of my team, and she's amazing. Anytime you see anything on social media from me, it is Becky. So I've been in a class, and somebody's like, "You didn't even pick up your phone. How are you posting on Instagram?" And I'm like, "That's her. always Becky. She's amazing. She's just so amazing. So love Becky.
Yes, she is.
What was it? What was the question? Oh, the consultation. So,
Consultations.
working with the consultations, there's always different packages. And for instance, my packages are, I can come in and do like a 2-hour consultation, or I can come in for a couple of nights if we just need to kind of, get things started. I'm getting to the point where I would like this to be my last 3 or 4 month job. I would like to do more consultations where it's where I'm able to just come in and help out a little bit and get you on the right path, get you on a a personalized sleep plan. That's where my goal is where I'm headed. We're rebranding my company. We're just changing everything up. My company is nannymarley.com, and it has served me so well transitioning from nanny to an SES. But I can still get a lot of calls like, "Oh, you're a nanny." I'm like, "No, I retired." So we are rebranding, and we will launch eventually. Right now, I'm working 12-hour nights, so things are a little crazy. But the consultations are just go in and just get everybody on a healthy sleep plan from the beginning, and or go in and tweak a couple of things and to teach. And also one of the consultations I'm offering is which I get asked a lot of times to do if an NCS can shadow me. And I've only had one family who was okay with it, but most families are like, I don't know who this person is. No, I'm not going to allow it. So one of my consultation packages is going to be, I can go shadow the NCS at her work and with the babies that she's struggling with. So the parents have me come in, the NCS is already there, but the parents have me come in and work with her for a night or 2 nights. And then so she gets a extra knowledge, extra help of just trying to, sometimes some of the jobs are hard and trying to figure out what it is or what's like they're missing and stuff like that. And from everybody I've talked to, they all love the idea of that. So that's actually pretty neat. So I can go shadow them as opposed to them shadowing me. And then that way I can really help out.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Okay, we have some comments online. Let's see. Hello,
Thanks, Becky, for
Madison.
putting that up there. I see her little posts.
I saw it. Um, Hello, Madison. Thanks for watching.
Hi,
Julie
Madison.
Jordan says, with twins, would it be beneficial to feed one at the breast and then the other with the bottle, and then alternate at each feeding? Or what is the best way to feed twins? Mom would like to EBF or that's express
Exclusive breast.
breast milk,
Exclusive.
express breastfeeding,
Yeah.
exclusive breastfeeding, not express breastfeeding. Okay, that's another E, but wrong thing. Anyway, express exclusive.
She would like to do this. I totally,
Okay.
Angela. I totally speak Angela. Don't worry, I got this. Um, so if the mom really wants to do breastfeeding and it's really hard, having her do it every like one, alternate times is great. If she's wanting to do it at night, I always recommend the first couple of nights, I think they want to, but then when they realize that, like, oh, I can sleep, I always encourage it if they want to pump, do it at night and have the milk at night but you absolutely can. Absolutely, you can do. And I've had some where I had a mom of triplets where she was breastfeeding only one because the other two never really got a good latch. And so, but she still got to have that nurturing with them. And then the other ones had breast milk bottles. So absolutely, they could do it. And I go with what the parent wants. Some parents are like, I don't want to breastfeed. I have to respect that. Other parents are like, I'm going to only breastfeed. You just go with what the parents want. And so she wants to breastfeed and she doesn't think she's going to have enough milk for both doing tandem. she can absolutely do one, and then, like, 3 hours later, do the other one, kind of thing. So I mean, I just kind of play it by ear with whatever the parent wants.
And
Is that
another
Julie who
thing,
asked that?
yes. And another
Okay.
thing about the milk, Julie, have them to, if she's going to express the breast milk, have them to date and time, put the time on the milk, because the baby saliva, when the baby latches, the baby saliva speaks to mom's body. And if it's nighttime and it's time for them to go to sleep, the melatonin, mom will produce melatonin for that milk. But if it's nighttime and she's not breastfeeding, it's still going to produce that melatonin. So put a time on it, because you don't want to feed the baby melatonin in the middle of the day when they're supposed to be doing tummy time and supposed to be up instead of sleeping, because that melatonin, like, I'm out.
Yep.
So
And then I
have
always
them to put a
I put a star and a sun on it too, so this is daytime milk, this is nighttime
right.
milk,
Good
without even
idea.
having to really look at the times. You can just see, and then some parents will even divide it up in the fridge. This row is nighttime milk, this row is daytime milk. So it
Yes.
won't harm them if they get daytime milk. It's not going to
No,
harm them at
it
all.
won't harm them. I'm just saying that it
The
makes the
melatonin is
difference. The
great.
melatonin makes a difference when you want them to sleep. Yes, you're gonna get some melatonin milk today. So
Exactly.
uh just just uh just a tip, that's all. Julie says, oh yes, you told me that trick, Marley. Such a great tip. Hello, Rose, how are you? And Julie says, oh, you told me that one about not changing the babies overnight. Such a great tip. Yes, I'm old school too. I like the book too. Thank you, Julie. I'm not the only one that's old school. Thank you. So,
So
um,
that's actually, I know what she's referring to is, we get to the point around 5 weeks old, they stop pooping at night, which is great.
mhm,
And at that point, I will start skipping a diaper change and just see how they do. And if they do fine and there's not a rash, or you can coat it, put diaper cream on to coat their bottoms and stuff
yes,
like that. And I'll keep trying it. And after a week, I put Sposie, it's SPOSIE, diaper boosters in their diaper. And basically, it will hold all the urine from the night, but it pulls it away. It's almost like a maxi pad, but it's made for urine. But it will pull it
yes,
all the way. That diaper the next morning will weigh a ton, but they were able to get through the night and everything like that. I love that, and that's actually my favorite part, because like then we can really work on the sleep training, sleep conditioning. Because so I guess we should talk about that. The difference
yes,
between sleep training and sleep conditioning. Sleep training has the tendency to have there will be some kind of crying it out. Um, it could be 10 minutes. Some people will talk about doing it for an hour or two. um, I sleep condition. So where I am, it's a very dark room. I mean, I I had a job not too long ago that the mom moved the furniture on my last night and I fell. And so just that room was very, very dark, like tinfoil on the windows and everything like that. So very dark room, sound machine, which is usually is a white noise, but sometimes it's a pink or a brown, but
I
not
don't like
a like, well, if you have an ocean, there's a break.
ocean sounds. I don't do the ocean sound. I
Whoosh.
don't like the ocean
So
sounds.
the reason there's a break in there, that's it, that's actually disruptive to their sleep, and that's why if you have a sleep where it's white noise, where it's shh the whole time, it's consistent. You don't hear the dog barking. You don't hear the doorbell ring. You don't hear the fire truck go by. I had one night, I think Julie, one of our families, right? I swear my car was getting hit by lightning 11 times that night. And I'm in the nursery going, I had already actually moved one of the babies to the bed, to the same crib, because I was like, if it hits that window or the roof, I'm out of here, and I've got the babies. They slept through the whole thing. They didn't hear a thing. And I'm going, that's why we have sound machines. I was wide awake. I was like, but I was ready to go. I could have them out of that room in 10 seconds flat, and I knew it. They didn't budge. They didn't hear a thing. and that's why we have the sound machine. It helps. It's very important that babies can sleep in a swing in the living room with the TV on and everybody talking, but they're getting junk sleep, not quality sleep. And the importance is that we can sleep on a plane, but you hear the pilot and you hear everybody getting up and down, you hear the trolley cart coming down. If you take that same amount of time and slept in your room where it was dark, sound machine, cool, you were very comfortable, you would have better quality sleep than you would have on the plane. And so that's what we really, when parents call me, and I can tell you in 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes, what's going on. And because babies are usually way overtired, way overstimulated, they're missing all the sleep cues. By the time the baby is crying or rubbing their eyes, you're at the end of sleep cues. You have missed all of the other ones. And
Yes.
that's when you have to do this. And that's when you have to rock and do this, as opposed to catching the sleep cues way over here. I don't know if you can see my arm, but anyway, I have really long arms. But if you catch the sleep cues that
All the
early
way
sleep
out.
cues over here, yeah, like there.
All the way
Okay.
that way. I love
You can,
your, I'm
how
sorry, your
okay.
organization. I just realized
it's
what that was.
it's my
Yes,
colors.
I love it.
um, but if you catch the early sleep cues, that's when you're able to put them down, and they're getting all the quality sleep they need. So in a real world, I would like every nap to be in the crib when it's dark and having the quality sleep. That would be and that would be my fantasy, but that's not realistic. You have to go to the store. You have to go pick up your other kids. So I always ask parents to give me one good nap in the crib every day. And then if you have to be out and about, take the shusher with you. I mean, or the hush machine. It's a battery operated one. It's about that big.
Yes, a little
But
round thing. Yes.
yeah, and then put it on and let them, because in that way, if they're out and about, they're going to have a better chance of having quality sleep than junk sleep, because that's where I can have, because I know my sleep rhythm and everything like that. My best sleep is between 9 and 1, 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. Or if I miss that window, which I will today, my best sleep will be between
Sorry.
11 and 3. It's okay. No, totally worth it. It's okay. But my sleep window will be between 11 and 3. I can sleep better in that time frame than most people can all night. And it's about knowing my rhythm. And I mean, I will be out cold. I will wake up on my own, which is weird. And I will wake up, but it's because I had the quality of sleep. And the quality of sleep is what makes you not exhausted, and you feel like you're like, oh, wow, I went to bed at 7 p.m. yet I tossed and turned all night, and that kind of thing. So babies go through that too. We want them to have the quality sleep.
Yes. Um, when I sleep condition, and people say, well, what's the difference? And just like you said, sleep training is for older babies, not for newborns. I don't start sleep training until they're like 6 to 8 months if they need training. But if you start sleep conditioning, if you make that room conducive to sleep, real sleep, then you won't have to sleep train.
So
It's all a matter
most of us
of
in go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say most of us in this industry can have them sleeping between 3 and 4 months old, and the books say sleeping through the night is 5 to 7 hours a night. Whose night is that? Besides me, but whose night is that? Like, no, we have them sleeping 10 to 12 hours a night, and they wake up happy, and they're happy. If your baby isn't waking up happy, they're not getting enough sleep. I mean, again, I can tell parents in just less than a 10-minute phone call pretty much everything that's going on. So
Mhm.
and you're absolutely right. I mean, the sleep training for those other babies who didn't get it early. um, why is sleep conditioning so important is really, I think, what parents need to know is that we're setting them up for life. I don't have any babies that I got sleeping through the night not sleeping as toddlers. And if you ask your friends, most of them will say, I have a 3-year-old who's never slept through the night, kind of thing, because they were never given the tools to do it.
Yes.
And
I had a family that the baby would sleep most of the night, but during the day it was like that 45 minutes. He sleeps 45 minutes. What am I gonna do? So I said, we're gonna do boot camp. He was like 5, 6 months old. I said, we're going to do boot camp. I said, because you're going on to Thanksgiving with family and getting on the plane and all that other stuff. We're going to do boot camp. So I did boot camp and he was sleeping for an hour, 45 minutes. I said, from 45 minutes to hour, 45 minutes, I said, you got a good nap in. So
definitely.
they went on vacation and she said he slept like a champ after being passed from arm to arm to arm to arm to arm. She said when he started giving me those, he started rubbing and started. She said, nap time. She said, I went, snatched
Yep.
him up. She said, I don't care who he was with. I snatched him up. We went in the dark room. We went in there. I did all the things. I turned on the sound machine. I sang my song. We did our little nap. She had a nap time routine with him. And he knew
Hmm.
it triggered. It's time to go to sleep. Because I told her, if you do a routine with your child and you're consistent with that routine, it triggers things in their mind. Okay, we're winding down. We're reading a story. Mom's singing me a lullaby. And then she's going to give me a kiss. She's going to put me down and I'm going to go to sleep. Now, he's halfway asleep when she puts him down, but he falls asleep on his own. He's not, I'm laying here on mama and I'm dead and I'm just like, and then when mama lays me down, I'm going to wake right back up. No, he's like in a sleepy state and she lays him down and she said, I didn't realize that. I said, yes, you lay them down in a sleepy state so they get used to going to sleep on their own. And
Right.
another thing that I
You're
told her, I
giving
said,
them the.
giving them, go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I was agreeing. You're giving them the skills to the tools to be able to do this.
Yes. And I told her, if he wakes up and he's not crying, don't go get him. I said, you have a set amount of time for him to sleep. Don't go get him because he might just go back to sleep. But if you go in there and you
Right.
rushing in there to get him, no. I said, it gives you time when he wakes up in the morning and you're not up. And say he wakes up at 6 a.m. It's a rare morning. He wakes up at 6 a.m. He knows how to sit there and play with himself. He knows how to wait
Right.
until you come and get him. Babies don't have a sense of time. They just know a sense of routine. And if you routinely, he's up, let me go get him. I heard him, let me go get him. Babies are training you. You training the baby. You're fine. You can sleep, you can talk, you can crawl around the crib until this amount of time, and I'll come and get you. I said that gives you time to take a
Right.
shower. It gives you time to brush your teeth. It gives you time to have a morning cup of coffee, at least a sip of coffee, before you go in there and pick him up.
While it's
And
still
she's
hot.
like, she's like, yeah. She said, I didn't realize that. She said, but they came back from the trip. She said, he did awesome for the whole week. He was awesome. I couldn't believe it. Yes. I said, yes. I said, babies will do what you train them to do when you are consistent and have a consistent routine. They will do it just takes time on the front end so you can get to the back end. If you invest the time and the consistency on the front end and not cringe, yes, it's going to cause some cringing moments because you're like, oh gosh, he's up. Yeah. But if you're consistent,
Angela, so what I don't mean to interrupt, but actually I do this time. You're kind of frozen and I can barely hear you. I don't know
oh
if it's
no,
Wi-Fi or
oh
but
no.
are you
Am I
able to
still
hear me?
frozen? I can hear you.
Oh, technology. Oh, there you
I'm
are. Okay.
oh, I lost you. Marley. Okay. I'm not sure what just happened, but I'm going to read the comments while we wait on Marley to come back. Um, Julie said, I like to add how long it took them to settle back down. Oh, there she is.
Yeah,
And
it completely lost both of us. So maybe it's my weird Wi-Fi. I'm sorry. So
uh,
okay.
no, I still see myself on my phone. I was
I'm just
like,
laughing. I'm like,
where is she?
yeah, like technology, it's amazing, right?
It
So
is. Um, I was reading Julie's comment. She said, I like to add how long it took them to settle back down to sleep after feeding. It has helped the mom I'm with now. A lot of anxiety at first. Hello, Anne Marie Stanley. How are you?
Hi,
Thanks.
Anne-Marie.
And Michael Johnson, thanks for joining us. Rose says, oh no. I'm not sure what that oh no was for.
I think,
but
forgot to get on probably. Hi, Ro.
um, but hello, Amanda Stewart. Rose says, I love the sound machine. I use it all the time. Hi, Anna Fellini. How are you? She's over in Switzerland.
Yeah.
Yeah. Julie says, when would be the best time to transition off the noise machine and blackout curtains? And if you have a mom that doesn't do any sort of blackout curtains and doesn't see the need to lower the house noise, talking, vacuuming, TV, they do noise machine though.
So that's a very good question. Questions. A lot of times parents say, yeah, we do a sound machine, but it's very quiet and it's not really that effective.
Right.
Um, Julie, the reality is like, why do they ever need to be off a sound machine? I mean, I still sleep with one. I sleep like the dead. And so why do they have to be weaned off of it? I mean, they will be able to sleep at some point and everything like that. A lot of times with the moms with anxiety, it's a kid gloves with them, right? So you just you have to just talk to her and just be like, for optimal sleep, for this to be successful, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to do the best I can. But if you don't want a sound machine or to be loud enough, or uh, if you don't want to use have it make the room dark, it's hard to give them the tools to self-soothe. Part of our goal is we sneak in there and they never know we're there. I mean, if they could actually see us, the rooms are so dark. I'm usually standing in a corner before they have actually really fully woken up because I'm watching. I'm like, is this something you need me for? Or is this something that you're going to work through? And the room needs to be dark enough for them not to see you, because if they see you, then they're like, oh, you're here, you're going to pick me up, you know.
Exactly.
And that's the whole, I mean, even with the white letters here, if the room is reflecting any of this, I will put electrical tape over it, just because of the fact that you want it to be dark, you want to have snuck in there and help them through it. My goal is to not pick up the babies, especially if you get to the point where you're not having to feed them as much and stuff like that. If I'm rocking a baby, we've had a very, very bad night, because that's my last resort. My goal is to keep the baby asleep, to not have them wake up the whole house. But this feels amazing. I want to be rocked, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
actually a habit we don't want. I mean,
Right.
sometimes you're just holding, and then the more you can do where you're not having to pick up the baby. So having the mom understand this. Bottom line is your job's going to end. They're going to do what they want to do. And it's hard. And I think it's really hard for us because we're like, we are putting so much into this and we want this to be successful. And the baby gets 75% there. And the parents are, for whatever reason, the contract's over, you have to go to another contract. The parents, whatever it is, but that last remaining part doesn't happen. And then it just kind of falls off, like all the habits, and then it goes back to rocking, and all the bad habits come back again. So I mean, Julie, I would just be honest with her and just say, I'm doing the best I can. I'm going to do the best I can and continue doing that, but I need these as tools. These are tools to help with it. And if they choose not to, that's absolutely their choice. We can't make them. But for them to understand the getting the true benefits of why they hired us in the first place, not just to get for the parents to get extra sleep. They hired a professional so that we could come in and um, get them started, reset everybody, do whatever stage we're coming in at to get with in mind, with the goal in mind of being able to sleep through the night and having the tools to have been able to do it.
Okay, so hi Bernadette, thanks for watching. Julie says, how do you keep a 3-month-old to stay asleep for naps?
So chances are they're going through their second sleep cycle. Usually the first sleep cycle, they're doing great, and then they're not. So you need to look down at the different things of why the, sorry, I just heard my cats like fighting. I was like, what is that noise? It's cats fighting. I'm a dog person, so this is still new to me. I mean, so are the sleep cues being met? Is he falling? I mean, are they keeping him up for 2 hours, or is he going to bed going back to sleep every 90 minutes? What is keeping him from going into his second sleep cycle? Is the sound machine not loud enough? I mean, those are things that when they start waking up. You think about it, every single time that you have ever woken up and you remember rolling over, you were awake, but we know just to fall back asleep, kind of thing. And so I would look into all of that. And then one of the things that you can do is, again, in a very dark room, if they're waking up at every 45-minute mark every time, get in there at about 35-minute and start patting, get them to stir just a little bit, not enough to actually wake them up, but get them enough to just stir a little bit and pat them back and goes from one sleep cycle into the next sleep cycle. And that's a good way you can often get, but you not waiting until they start waking up. You got to catch them before they start doing that. Because if you're trying to sneak into the room and you open the door, there's a lot of light coming in, that's as opposed to, at the 45-minute mark, he's going to wake up. You're already in the room at 35 or 30 minutes. And then you just kind of pat him, kind of wake them up, just where you're waking them up enough. You're not like talking to him or anything like that. You're waking him up enough that he wakes up just a tad, and then you pat him back to sleep. You might be in there for 10 minutes, but he might sleep another 45 minutes after that. So you're basically interrupting his sleep cycle and putting him right back into another sleep cycle.
And that's what it took for me to get that child from 45 minutes to hour 45. I was like, okay. And then I had a child um, because of the way the house was positioned and the way the sun rose, and the morning nap was fine because the sun was on the back side of the house. The afternoon nap was troublesome because the sun, they had curtains in there. They were dark curtains, but it wasn't room darkening curtains.
It's not, and even blackout curtains are never dark enough, to be honest, because there's
Right.
always that
Yeah,
seam.
that always that crest or that seam around it, unless you are taking tape and pasting it around taping the curtains around our garbage bags. That's what we had to do in Alaska. We did garbage bags around to get the kids to go to sleep at night in the summertime. But then the afternoon nap was always the problem because the way the sun came in, uh, the
It was
way it
hotter.
rolls, it's hard, and you just have to you figure out a way. And sometimes it's not the conventional way that other people were doing. You're like, okay. So I told her, I said, can we put garbage bags on the windows? I said, she said, garbage bag on the windows? I said, yeah. Can we put the big trash, the lawn trash bags on the windows? So Dad gets up there and he tapes them up there. And the next day he slept through. And he said, how did you know that? I said, I lived in Alaska during the summertime. And my 3-year-old would wake up every time because it's overnight because the sun is up 23 hours and 23 minutes
Right.
in June.
Right.
And it's just sunlight. And they think, oh, it's daytime.
Time to be
And they
up.
would take a nap. And when they would roll over, they wouldn't go back to sleep because, hey, there's the sun.
So
Those trash bags.
I've had the privilege of working in some pretty impressive homes. We'll go with that. And there's nothing, the shock and fear on the parents' faces when you say, let's just put tinfoil up on the window, like it's a meth lab or something. It's hysterical because these are like $1 million homes, and we're like tinfoil, but it blackens that room. I mean, it is dark, and then electrical tape over all of those little, like uh, the
The camera lights, the little
the one of
blue
the
lights.
camera lights, the fire alarm, everything. If you just put electrical tape over it because it's black, it will blue tape will kind of, the light will still come through. I travel with electrical tape, and I mean, it's amazing how you're like, oh, you didn't think of it. You sit in a room for 15 minutes after your eyes are fully adjusted, you will see everything. And that's what they will look at. The first thing they'll look at is that red light on the camera in the middle of the night. But if they don't see that, then it's not something to focus on. And then the best room is if they can't tell the difference between 3 a.m. and 3 p.m. And that's when it's the best, because that way you can sneak in there, you can help them out. They never even know you're there. That's what we want.
And see, I have a lot of blue scrubs, dark blue scrubs, because not every parent is going to adhere to the blackout curtains and the blackout and the dark room. And then I'm like, can we put there's a blue light that's sitting on the sound machine that's right between the cribs. Can we? I will just throw a
Burp cloth.
burp cloth over the top of that. I know they don't want it covered. But when I'm in there, okay, we fold that burp cloth over. Okay.
Well, that's where the electrical tape will come in, because it never covers up the camera or anything like that.
But they
So
don't want it covered. They don't
yeah,
want to
because
put the tape
it
on.
doesn't look pretty. It doesn't look
Yes. So
pretty.
I just take the. I can only handle what I can only do what I can do when I'm there. So if I'm there and I'm in charge of these babies, okay, we're rolling it up and we put the burp cloth. I just snatched 3 or 4 out of the closet. Okay, I gotta put one over here, one on the what is it, the white warmer.
Hmm.
You open that thing, that brick light says, "Hey!" And I'm like,
I usually just I usually unplug it.
so
I want the room dark. I have broken so many toes in the dark because I've misjudged the furniture. So having it dark is the key. But they learn. They learn very, very quickly.
yes, yes. And that's why I
So
carry me a set of I bought brand new house slippers
hmm
so that it protects my toes, so it will hit the slipper before, and I intentionally buy them big so it will hit, and so when my foot slides, it I have a little bit of room before I full on crash into it, and then there's a little cushion at the end. So yeah, it may be sprained, but it's not broken.
right.
I did that
Yeah.
once. Oh my gosh. Oh, that toe, it took forever.
I've been there for
Forever.
sure.
So yeah, I try to, and I explained to the parents. I said I would like to, bring these. I will leave them here, so that it stays in your child's room, and they're brand new. I bring them in. The tag is still on, so I can reassure them that I am not bringing germs into your child's room.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So,
I agree.
but anyway, um I think that was it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I think we have
Oh, thank you.
everybody.
Thanks,
Um,
everybody. This was a lot of
and
fun.
this is where you
Sorry
can
it took
find.
3 years.
Well, it took 3 years, but it was awesome. I truly appreciate you coming on and sharing your knowledge with us. Um, and if you all need to get in contact with Nanny Marley, here's her information, nannymarley.com. Please follow her on Facebook. Uh,
Thank you, Becky, for posting that.
contact. Thank you, Becky, for your backup. Becky is awesome, and I promise you, Becky, I'm coming in April. If the wall, as long as the borders are still open, I'm coming in April for INNTD.
I could not run my company without Becky. Truly.
It's
I
awesome.
mean, she, I, yeah, she's just amazing. So yeah, thank you, Becky.
Thank you, and
Thank
thank
you,
you,
Angela.
Marley.
I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much, and thank
You're
you,
welcome. You're welcome. Now
for
I'm gonna
having
let
me
you
on.
go. I'm gonna let you go get some sleep. because
I'll
I
be
know
asleep in
you've been
about
up
5
all day.
minutes.
And thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, everybody who's listening and watching, uh, she said, "Can you do it again?" Uh, Bernadette said, "Can you do it again?"
Do what again?
I'm not sure what you mean. Can you do it again? Um, if you want her back on the show, what?
Yeah.
Please respond. I don't know, but any questions that if you have any questions, if you're watching the replay, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. And Marley has promised to come back and answer them after she gets some sleep. It
Might
may
be
take
about
a couple.
3. It might be about 3 a.m. tonight,
3
but
a.m. in
yeah.
the morning, because that's when that's just when we operate because
Yeah.
our brains are functioning better at night because we got babies to take care of.
Yeah.
So please leave your questions. She said yes, back on the show. She wants you to come back on the show.
Anytime. I will make
So
it. I will make it happen. It will be a lot quicker than 3 years.
we have to work with her schedule. Hi, Shanika. How are you? Um, but thank you so much. We're gonna let Marley go so she can get some sleep. She
Thanks,
did
guys.
a night shift and came on right away. She hasn't been asleep yet, so I'm gonna let her go so she can get some sleep. You all have a great afternoon. Tell your friends, your neighbors, your groups that this is the official Ask the Nanny. If you want to see it, watch the replay tonight.
I'm definitely, and I'll be posting it on my page and everything too later.
Okay.
So
Uh,
thank you.
all
Thank you
right.
so
Thank
much for this
you.
opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And we
Bye,
will see
everybody.
you all later.
Bye.
Bye.